Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Butt Fumble Sports Daily Show on this Valentine's Day. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day, whether single, coupled, whatever. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Hope your work week is going well. Of course, this is our first week post-NFL season, so we have really entered the basketball world, college basketball, NBA. Loaded slate of NBA games today. Should actually be a great day to bet on both games and on player prop bets. We're going to cover a lot of that tonight. College basketball, there's some notable matchups that we're going to cover as well. NHL only has 3 games out there, but all 3 we have a pick for. Actually, some good bets out there on the ice. Appreciate you guys being with us. Welcome to Butt Fumble Sports. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you subscribe. We are a sports content company created by a sports fan for you sports fans at home. Hope you guys are doing well. We're going to cover your questions. We're going to give out picks. And of course, we're going to have a lot of fun over the next hour or so. A couple of things I do want to call out. We are giving away picks every 1,000 likes, as you guys know. Also have some news across the NFL world. Steve Wilks, the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers, has been fired. So the 49ers clearly disappointed in their defensive performance in the Super Bowl. They are moving on from their defensive coordinator, opening up a position there. Interesting how the dominoes fall, who's going to end up filling that job. So we've got some sports news. Of course, we also have some tragic news, a shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade. I had to talk about this at the beginning of the show just to say, what world do we live in when people can't go to a celebration like a Super Bowl parade and they should ever have to be in fear? It's all I have to say about that. If any of us ever had the opportunity to go to a championship parade, shouldn't that be one of the great memories of our lives? Shouldn't that be a moment that everyone can celebrate with each other and the neighbors that they have in the community that they're in? Tragic. Devastating. Should not be the case in this country. That's as far as I'll go with it. We'll stick to sports for the rest of the show, but certainly want to give my thoughts, prayers, and obviously a moment of pause to think about those who have been impacted by today. With that said, let's get to it. Sports rants from a guy who never played sports. No, you're right, Nick Man. I never played sports beyond a college level, but I did work at ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, and I was a producer for Jim Rome. So, Nick Man, it really has to do more with my experience in sports media and just my love of creating sports content. So you're absolutely right, Nick Man. You're not speaking to a former athlete. You're speaking to a former producer. Nick Man, that's feel free. You can swipe up. No need to stick around. Appreciate you watching while you did, though. Certainly nice to know that you stopped by for just a little bit. User 333, best position group in the draft. For me, it's inside. For me, it's wide receiver. This is an incredibly strong wide receiver class. This is one in which I could see you having 5, 6 top-tier wide receivers, not just producing next year, but over the next few years. Loaded wide receiver class to me. My question is, out of this quarterback draft, Is this one of those quarterback draft classes that we're going to be talking about for years, or this will be more like a dud? Will it be the Elway Marino draft class, or will it be the Trey Lance Mac Jones draft class? Julian, do you think Caleb could be a top 10 quarterback in his first year, and why? I don't think so. I just see him going to the Chicago Bears. I think he pairs up with Caleb Williams, pairs up with DJ Moore well. The offensive line, though, are the Bears going to commit that second first round pick to an offensive lineman? If they do, and you pair that with their first round pick next year, or last year rather, I think the Bears could build a good offensive line. But I tend to believe that rookies just have a tendency to throw a few more interceptions. I know C.J. Stroud performed incredibly well, but I actually think C.J. Stroud was more disciplined and prepared for the NFL because of playing at Ohio State in some of those championship games in the playoffs that he had, those Big Ten championship games, the games against Michigan. Caleb Williams hasn't been tested the same way. USC didn't go up against the same level of competition that Ohio State did when Stroud was there. So I think Caleb Williams, between fundamentals and finally getting on the NFL stage, I don't think he's going to produce at that same kind of level. Who's the most underrated quarterback in this draft? Well, according to the scouts, it's J.J. McCarthy. According to NFL executives, it's J.J. McCarthy. Personally, if you ask me, I think it's Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler has a lot of arm talent. He has a lot of athleticism, but because he went through the transfer portal, I think he lost some of the shine on him that he had as a prospect from high school going to college as a recruit. But for a lot of reasons, I think Spencer Rattler could actually have a better NFL career than a number of the other quarterbacks we're talking about. Is Fliff legit? Like, can I cash out real money? I've actually never used Fliff. I know that there are other people on the SHARPZ app that use it. I've never used it. So one of the sports books that I don't use, I use a number of them, but that's not one I use. User 333. I lean towards a dud, but we will see. A lot of better quarterbacks are older. I tend to agree with you as well. I'm not as big on J.J. McCarthy as these rumors are. I think Michael Penix Jr., if he could stay healthy, could have a fabulous career. My concern is it kind of like a Teddy Bridgewater, where sooner or later you don't want a quarterback who's had a history of knee issues. Just feels like it's an unreliable bet to make. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are loving the content, loving the show. When we hit 1,000 likes, we're going to give out our first pick of the day. Julian, do you think Aaron Rodgers can go back to being an MVP form next year? I don't think he'll be an MVP ever again, in part because the league has simply passed him by. I think there are other quarterbacks who are going to put up bigger numbers, but Aaron Rodgers could go back to being a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, and I actually think that's what's more important. If I want anything, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, it's not to win another MVP, it's to win another Super Bowl, because only one Super Bowl, your legacy is much different, especially now that Patrick Mahomes is putting distance between himself and everyone else besides Tom Brady. So I think Rodgers getting a good offensive line around him and being able to have a full season with the Jets is critically important to his legacy. Who is your way too early Super Bowl prediction? If I had a way too early Super Bowl prediction, I'll take Joe Burrow. I don't think the Chiefs get back there. I'm going to say Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC. And in the NFC, I'll go a little crazy, and I'm going to say it's the Green Bay Packers. I'll take a risk. I'll say Jordan Love has a really good second year. Do I really feel that way? I don't see anyone in the West. I don't see anyone in the South. Yeah, I would say the Green Bay Packers. I say Green Bay Packers, Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl. That's what I would say right now is my prediction. Do you like Auburn to cover tonight? I don't like them on the cover. I do like them on the money line. Let's give out our first pick of the evening, everybody. We've got college basketball picks. We have NBA picks. We have NHL picks. We're going to be giving out picks throughout the show. Our first pick of the evening is going to be Auburn on the money line. Auburn has a really good matchup tonight. Really good game. Two ranked teams. So I'm excited about it. Let me show it to you up here on our big board so we can show you how the money's coming down on it as well. So you can see it's a loaded slate tonight in college basketball. South Carolina Gamecocks 9-5 on the season, 8-3 in the conference. They're the 11th ranked team, but they don't have a great history going up against Auburn. And when they've been a big underdog this year, they failed to cover. It only happened once, I believe, once or twice, once against Alabama on the road. Similar circumstances. Auburn at home. I like Auburn on the money line. It's a minus 700. Obviously, a lot of you guys don't like taking odds at that spot, or don't like taking bets with odds that are that wide. But I put it into some parlays. Overall, that's what I would take. If I had to go in any direction, I'd probably take South Carolina on a cover if I buy points up. But overall, I don't love the spread on this. Being over 10 points feels a little awkward. Feels like the sports books know something and they're trying to lay a trap. If we look at how the public's betting this one, so the percentage of bets when it comes to the spread, it's around 55-45 in favor of Auburn, but the money's coming down way heavily on Auburn to cover the spread. Again, that just tells me there's something off about this. People know something that I don't. I'll take Auburn on the money line and feel good about it, even at minus 700, and again, sprinkle it into some parlays. But Auburn on the spread, there's money coming down on that side. I just don't feel great about it. Julian, was Steve Wilks the problem for the 49ers? I actually think it was. I think he was, and I think it was. And by it, I mean the defense. Defense played really well for a majority of the game, but they made the greatest mistake of all. They didn't force Patrick Mahomes to have to do anything but the simple things. Like, I don't think Patrick Mahomes was spectacular in that game. I know he's phenomenal in the overtime, but I don't think Steve Wilks applied the same kind of pressure intellectually that Steve Spagnuolo did. If you look at how the Chiefs approached defense when they were losing in the fourth quarter, they made aggressive moves to force Brock Purdy to have to make a quick decision. I thought Patrick Mahomes had way too much time. I think the 49ers suffered from, yes, I don't think Steve Wilks was good enough. Keep in mind, DeMeco Ryans was the DC there, obviously left to go to Houston. I think if he had been there for that Super Bowl, I think the 49ers probably win. But overall, yeah, I also thought you gave Isaiah Pacheco just a little bit too much life overall throughout that game. User 333, Chiefs didn't get called for one hold all night. This is actually the third Super Bowl in a row in which the Kansas City Chiefs have not been called on a hold, offensive line. And that's one of the reasons where if someone wanted to give me the excuse that things are rigged, you know, I shared with a bunch of you guys that comment that was made by Sean McManus, the former president of CBS, specifically CBS Sports, who said that it's going to go to a second overtime. A bizarre comment to make pre-Super Bowl, just a prediction for the ages, and it turned out that it was pretty much correct. So first time I ever thought that there could be some scripting or some staging or something like that. And overall, the fact that the 49ers never got one holding call in their favor. The Chiefs were never called. You could see it on Bosa. You could see Bosa being held. I was stunned by it, but no one was really complaining about it. Stephen Horner's asking about Penn State plus 3.5. I have to agree with you. I bought it up, so I'm going to put this one up on my big board, but I want to let you know I did buy the points up on this, but Penn State plus 6.5, that is something I took. Steven, I love where your head's at. I think Penn State could actually end up winning this game. Again, I took them on a heavy cover because that's what I do. Butt Fumble Sports likes to buy points. The sports books are trying to take our money. They're trying to lay traps. I want to cash as many tickets as I can. I understand I'm not making as good a return on it. There are other accounts, there are other sports bettors, other influencers out there who are probably going to give you better bets in that way. I want to cash as many tickets as I can and then fold those together in 2-3 leg parlays where I can. Diego, you did call that Syracuse game. We had a little bit too much faith in UNC bouncing back after playing Clemson at home and playing poorly. Clearly, this UNC team is just not as good as that ranking was. I think I had a little bit too much faith in the talent of that team. And I don't know Syracuse well enough, clearly. In a post-Jim Boeheim world, Syracuse needs an identity, and it came about a little bit last night. They played well. Low, how you feel about Herb Jones over 14.5 points? Let's look at our first player prop bet of the game. It's going to be for Herb Jones in the NBA. Appreciate the question, Lo. If any of you guys want to join the show as a guest, feel free. Love having your calls live on TikTok. Of course, if you guys over on Twitch, Kick, we're here for you guys. By the way, Jeter Leader, I did an absolute tragedy. I addressed it at the very start of our show, but obviously I'm just absolutely saddened by the fact that we now live in a world where you can go to a Super Bowl parade to celebrate with your neighbors, to celebrate with your friends, to celebrate with the fellow fans that you went through maybe years of strife with or years of hope with, and it's a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy, and there's no excuse for it in this country. I don't know what else to say. Herb Jones over 14.5 points. I'm seeing it set right now at 12.5 low, so wherever you're seeing the 14.5 is actually a little bit higher than where I'm seeing it. This is a great matchup. His matchup against the Washington Wizards, they're the 25th ranked defense in points allowed to small forwards. Herb Jones has hit this consistently 4 games in a row. By the way, injury news, Zion Williamson is a game time decision, left foot bruise, just something to keep an eye on there. Right now, the fact it's over 12.5 plus 102 You could get this at over 10.5. That's a very safe play. You could get it at over 9.5 at minus 240. I think this is a good play low, but I would probably buy it down a little bit. I understand why the over 14.5 kind of interests you. The idea of kind of buying it up, actually, given the matchup. Interesting idea, actually. Peter, I do not like the Gamecocks on the money line. No, I don't. No, I don't. Cruel Finisher, I do like Seton Hall on the money line. Good find, Cruel Finisher. Brett B., what are your thoughts on the Arizona Cardinals' future? I think the Arizona Cardinals are in a really interesting position right now. If for any reason Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels falls in the draft, but because Marvin Harrison Jr. goes in the top 3, something crazy happens. If the Cardinals can trade back out of that number 4 pick, it would be so valuable to them to pick up additional draft capital. The Cardinals have a decent core, but really, they need a lot of pieces. So the more draft picks they could acquire this year, next year, really important for them to build around Kyler Murray. I think they've let it be known Kyler Murray is going to be the guy next year, so they don't have to make the same kind of maneuvers to try to get one of those top 3 quarterbacks. But overall, if Brock Bowers falls in your lap, if Marvin Harrison Jr. falls there are plenty of wide receivers that you could get, so you could draft, trade down, get another first-round pick, and maybe a second, acquire a wide receiver in that early second-round draft, with that second-round draft pick. I just think that would be the move. You got to add to defense. You got to add to the offensive line. You got to add to everywhere. I say Brock Bowers. They already have a tight end in Trey McBride, so probably not the move there. But wide receiver, offensive line, defense overall, a lot of things that Arizona needs to do. Peter, you got the same feeling, the spread plus 11.5 for South Carolina. Peter, as I just talked about there, I feel like that's a little too high. It feels a little too high, but at the same time, the money's coming down on Auburn, and the trends favor Auburn. So, Peter, one of the reasons I'm not betting South Carolina on the money line is the trends actually favor Auburn covering the 11.5. I don't like it. It feels like a trap, but when it feels like a trap, I'm not going to step into it. Cruel Finisher, Michigan State, Penn State. What are your thoughts on Penn State? I like Penn State to cover. This feels like a good cover play. Penn State plus 6.5. By the way, I'll give out an NBA game pick when we hit 2,000 likes, everybody. So make sure you tap the screen. We give away all of our picks for free. I know there are a lot of people on social media who charge for their picks. You have to be a subscriber. You have to do some kind of thing behind a paywall. We don't do any of that. We give away our picks for free every single day. We give them out individually throughout the show. You can also DM me on Instagram, Buttfumble Sports on Instagram. We give away our picks for free on the SHARPZ app. They're always for free. They're always posted, all transparency, never behind a paywall. So either DM me on Instagram, or you could just wait around as we give out picks throughout the show. First NBA game pick of the show will be at 2,000 likes. User 33, keep Dak, extend him, trade him, start Lance. I actually think the Trey Lance draft or trade was really smart by the Dallas Cowboys. You've now had a whole season to both have him in your building and to learn about him, develop him a little bit. You know who it reminds me of a little bit? It is the Patrick Mahomes model of let the guy with a lot of young talent watch, develop, improve his mechanics a little bit. And then maybe when the other guy gets hurt, the guy who plays it a little bit too safe, the guy who doesn't quite get us over the hump, maybe Trey Lance actually is going to be more competitive with Dak come training camp. But that's just me projecting. Overall, I think Dak is probably a better candidate for extension than he is to be cut or traded. So I love the Trey Lance move because it allows Jerry a little bit of leverage in negotiating with Dak and obviously has somebody else in camp just to push him. But I think Dak is probably going to work his way into an extension because I just don't see the Cowboys failing enough to get the kind of draft pick that they would want to move on from Dak. That's the real problem. That's why they fell in love with Romo. That's why they fell in love with Dak. It's in part because they could afford these guys, keep a great team out there because they weren't overpaying the quarterback. That's what you get when you draft a quarterback in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounds. Again, Trey Lance could be that lottery ticket again. Just a little bit from now, we got to wait a little bit. Let's give out another pick. We go to the NBA. First NBA game pick we're going to give out. I'm going to take the Raptors and Pacers under 248.5, everybody. This is going to be a high-scoring one, but not high enough. Raptors, Pacers, under 248.5. That is the first NBA game pick we're giving out. We'll give out a winner in just a moment when we hit 3,000 likes. Call me Los. We do have an NHL pick as well. How about this? We'll do an NHL pick at 4,000 likes. So another NBA game pick at 3,000 likes, an NHL pick at 4,000 likes. We're going to get up those really quick. Do you bet your own picks? Yes, we do. All of my picks actually are real bets. That's why they show up on the SHARPZ app. So the SHARPZ app is a social media app for sports bettors. If you place a bet and you connect your sports book, it automatically goes to the SHARPZ app. I place real bets every day. Now, I keep my unit amount smaller because obviously I'm placing so many bets that I can show them to you. But I do place real bets every day with real money. You guys can see where I'm ranked. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit lower than I was post-Super Bowl because I did have the 49ers on the money line. Did well on everything else, but we were very heavy on the money when it came to 49ers money line, so we got to climb the rankings again. But we usually hit at a 57% rate across all of our bets. When it comes to individual bets, we hit between 65 and 68%. That's what we found over the last calendar year. Mike, go get Justin Fields. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think they need to go get Justin Fields. Denver, I think, is going to move on from Russell Wilson. Absolutely, I think that's what's going to happen. We've hit 3,000 likes. NBA game pick coming your way. Our first NBA game pick in terms of money line. I'm taking the Pelicans on the money line tonight. Now, Zion Williamson is questionable, but I still like the Pelicans on the money line. That's our first game pick. We gave a total play a moment ago. Raptors, Pacers, under 248.5. Pelicans on the money line. We also have an NHL game pick coming at 4,000 likes. NHL game pick at 4,000 likes. If you're watching over on Twitch, Kick, or YouTube, feel free to ask your questions as well. We're keeping track of your comment section. Mike, Kuzma is questionable tonight. Yep, still waiting on word. Jose, what's good? Thoughts on the Patriots talking about trading back out of the number 3 pick? I think that Robert Kraft and the front office in New England is laying the groundwork with the media, with the fan base, for the possibility of them trading out of that pick. I think the likelihood of it is really high. Now, personally, as someone who used to be a Patriots fan, I think it would be ludicrous for them to pass on a quarterback right now. You got to draft Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Caleb Williams, who's ever left standing. You got to draft him. But I think that Robert Kraft for years now has been using the Boston media to put out some feelers about letting Belichick go, firing him mid-season versus letting him go at the end of the season, hiring Gerard Mayo, certain things with quarterbacks. I think the Boston media is the pipeline of the Patriots to be able to get a sense of how the fan base is going to react. I don't think the fan base loves the idea, but I do think the Patriots are absolutely considering it. The Vikings, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Denver Broncos want to trade up. We know that. The Atlanta Falcons, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Denver Broncos want to trade up. So because of that, I think there's going to be a lot of draft capital value that is out there for the Patriots, the Commanders, the Bears to go get. Maybe the Cardinals, if somehow one of those quarterbacks were to fall. Keep your eye on J.J. McCarthy. Everyone right now is talking J.J. McCarthy behind the scenes. Do I agree with it? No, but there's a reason behind it. So keep your eyes on that one. We are hitting 4,000 likes right now. Let's give out an NHL game pick right now. NHL game pick coming your way. First NHL game pick of the evening is going to be the Winnipeg Jets on the money line, everybody. Winnipeg Jets on the money line. I'm going to jump on over on Outlier to show you where that money's coming down. Sharks and Jets. Jets have been the much better team, obviously. 98% of the money is on the Jets money line, so I'm obviously with the heavy favorite, but I feel good about that one. No reason for me to feel weird about it. The Sharks are actually getting some public money line play. That only helps the odds a little bit. It's a minus 450. Put it into some parlays. That's how I'd go about it. Appreciate you guys being with us. Let's get back to some of these questions. Hawkeye, do you think Justin Fields goes to the Steelers? Feels like there's a lot of traction there. I've been thinking the Falcons, so I'm not going to change up now just because there are some rumors out there. I still think the Falcons are the best fit for him, in part because I'd like to see him on a fast track. We saw him in Chicago. Chicago is kind of like Pittsburgh in terms of weather, in terms of the turf being that kind of high turf. I like the idea of Justin Fields being on a faster surface, being with faster players, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. I would love to see him in Atlanta. I think that would be the best fit for him. But there's a reason right now the Steelers are the betting favorite. I think the rumors about Mike Tomlin wanting to make a push for him are accurate. I think it really comes down to the price tag. Is he a first-round pick? I don't think so, or worthy of it. I think it's a second-round pick, and I think there's some finagling that has to happen there. Crack, did you give out your favorite play of the day? Not just yet. We're still waiting on it. When we hit 5,000 likes, we're going to give out an NBA pick, another NBA game pick at 5,000 likes. User 333, Dak trade to Atlanta for the 8th overall makes a lot of sense. It really doesn't. It really doesn't, because Mike McCarthy is coaching for his job. And Jerry Jones isn't going to sandbag or cut Mike McCarthy off at the knees to go draft Dak's replacement. It just wouldn't make a lot of sense. Now, what would make sense if I'm the Dallas Cowboys is see where Bo Nix falls. If Bo Nix, Spencer Rattler, if one of those two guys fall in the draft, that may be someone who's worth taking a third-round pick on. But frankly, I think Trey Lance is the lottery ticket that you have waiting in the wings. I don't think you want to make a move. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Peter, how do you feel about the Commies offseason moves? I think the Commanders did a really good job in the front office, luring away the assistant GM from the 49ers. I think the Commanders, I love the Commanders' front office. From ownership to GM, I think it's really solid there. I don't love Dan Quinn. I like Dan Quinn. I get it. It's an upgrade from Ron Rivera, but it's kind of similar. It's kind of an old school thinking head coach, more aggressive defensively, but still a little bit old school, not very progressive. And you're going to build a defensively minded team. You just hope you can win on a quarterback, whether it's Drake May or Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams. I think Cliff Kingsbury makes a lot of sense there. I'm actually glad that that's where he ended up. That makes the most sense in terms of being able to be revolutionary or modern thinking, or modern in your thinking about the offense. But there are reasons to believe that Dan Quinn, for me, wasn't the best hire. I kind of wish they had gone in another direction, but I'm excited about it. If nothing else, I'm very excited about it. Peter, I understand that Dan Quinn take, but he's brought in a lot of experience with the staff. I actually think that's one of the better things that they did is they didn't make it the Dan Quinn show. There is a lot of talent there. El Pinche over on YouTube is asking about Jalen Brunson and a player prop bet around Jalen Brunson. We're going to give out another game pick right now before we do that. Let's give out another NBA game pick for everybody. I am taking the Jazz on the money line. One trend that has been very popular this year, the Lakers on the second night of a back-to-back are not a good team. Lakers as a road dog, not a good team for the most part. They went on a bit of a run when they went out east and played the Celtics and the Knicks. But prior to that, they had not been a good road underdog. You know who's been a really good home favorite? The Utah Jazz. I really like the Jazz on the money line tonight. I thought about making them my best bet of the night. I didn't, but they're certainly in contention for it. So Jazz on the money line, another bet that we're giving out. Now let's go over to the player prop bets, and we're going to check out Jalen Brunson to see if there's a player prop bet here that we like for his point total. Over 29.5 points. The over actually has a good implied probability at 53%. He is supposed to be playing tonight. In terms of injuries, OG Anunoby is out. Bojan Bogdanovic is a game-time decision. Dante DiVincenzo is a game-time decision. Isaiah Hartenstein is a game-time decision. Julius Randle is out. He has been consistently getting to 27 points over the last 10 games. If we stretch it out over the last 20, 27 seems to be that ultimate breaking point for Jalen Brunson. Head-to-head, though, not the case. Head-to-head against the Orlando Magic, the under's been a good play, specifically 25 and under. He's only hit 25 one time. Let's take a step out. Let's look at how the matchup is. against the point guard position. The Magic are the 8th best defense in the league against point guards when it comes to scoring. Not great for the overplay. Now, what is a good note is Brunson hit 27 points last game. He has not, over the last 20 games, he's only gone back-to-back games without going over 27 one time, and that was in late December 30th, and literally January 1st. So other than that, he's been consistently bouncing back from a 27 or less than game and coming up with a 30-point game. If I had to go in any direction on this, I would avoid it. If I had to go in any direction, I'd probably buy it down, take over 26.5. Over 26.5 is cashed in 17 of the last 20 games. I'm willing to put that on my big board. But other than that, I would tend to avoid his point play. Feels like a tricky one here. I know they're going to rely on him a lot because of the injuries, but it's not a great matchup. That's what keeps me away from it. When we hit 6,000 likes, I'm going to give out another college basketball pick. Another college basketball pick at 6,000 likes. User 7377, DM me on Instagram. If you want to see every bet that I make every day, DM me on Instagram. I give away all of my picks for free. You can follow them, you can fade them. That's entirely up to you. But I show my bets for free every day. Just DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports. That's the name of my company and the name of my Instagram handle, Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. I'll give you a link and a referral code for the SHARPZ app. That way you can see every bet that I make every day for free, always. Here are the bets I've given out so far for our show. Raptors, Pacers, under 248.5. Pelicans on the money line. Jazz on the money line. In the NHL, I'm taking the Jets on the money line. And in college basketball, I have Auburn on the money line and Penn State plus 6.5. I really like them as a home underdog. Make sure you guys are hitting that follow button. Make sure you're subscribing. Butt Fumble Sports is live almost every day, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. on the weekends. Ranger, you were so right about Marquette beating Butler. That is something we got right. Unfortunately, we didn't get Syracuse UNC correct. Would have liked to have gotten that one. Ranger, thank you so much for the gift. We certainly appreciate you guys contributing to the show and supporting the channel, but we will never charge for our picks. They're always available for free. So if you want to see the bets I'm making, whether it's game picks, total plays, player prop bets, parlays, round robins, just DM me on Instagram, Butt Fumble Sports. DM me on Instagram. You can get them for free. User 333. Do the Spurs become a winning team if they draft Nikola? First of all, I freaking love Wemby. Wemby is for real, everybody. Anyone who thinks Wemby was all hype, just watch him play. He dominates. He's putting up phenomenal numbers, and they're holding him back. They are consciously not letting this kid play to his full potential because they want to protect him. They want to acclimate him to the NBA. They want to make sure that he can play a full season and really grow into year 2. Everything the Spurs are doing is correct, but Wembanyama he isn't a star. He is a solar system. This dude is unbelievable. He is going to change the NBA. I absolutely believe the hype. They need to pair him with some good shooters on the three-point line, but frankly, he likes to step out from three. They need to give him an enforcer down low, someone who is going to literally beat people up who try to bully Wembanyama. He's, I think, stronger than people think, but they could use a Charles Oakley to beat up anybody who tries to take him on, and then just pair him with scorers, pair him with shooters. I think the Spurs are so close, actually, to being a good team. It's going to be a year or two. It's not going to be more than that. Look out. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to be the best young team in the NBA for a while, but the Spurs are going to make a meteoric rise behind Wembanyama's talent. Carter, 22, asking about Alex Caruso on rebounds. Let's take a quick look at Alex Caruso player prop bets right now. Specifically, we're going to jump on over to rebounds. We're using the Outlier app, allows us to check out the trends and bets that we like the most every day. He has been consistently hitting this number. 5 straight games, he's gone over 3.5 rebounds, 8 of the last 10. In terms of the last 20 games, he's hit it 12 times, but it's really been a hot trend of late. If we look head to head, It's okay against Cleveland. If we look at it specifically on the road against the Cleveland Cavaliers, it hasn't been as good a bet. 1 out of the last 3. Don't love it. The matchup that he has as a point guard, he's going up against the 5th best defense when it comes to rebounds. I know this has been a very hot trend, but I don't love it. It's been a bit too hot, to be honest with you. I'm not going to take this one, Carter 22. I actually feel like this is a bit of a trap. I would not be surprised if this trend ends tonight. I know it's been hot, but it's just been too hot. Again, road games. It's hitting 6 straight road games. Oh, man, I just feel like it's a bit too hot. Here's the only thing I'll say. Is there anything else we can get a game time decision? Are there any injuries of note? Not really. He's a game time decision. That's something to actually keep your eye on. Appreciate the questions no matter where they come from. TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Wonderful having it with you guys. Having the conversation. Someone's asking about Halliburton on the first quarter assist. Normally that's not a bet that I would take, but it is a bet that we can look at. So we're going to look at first quarter assists. By the way, Pascal Siakam over half a first quarter assist has actually been a very good play. Keep your eye on that one. Let's take a look at Tyrese Halliburton. Man, first quarter assists is set at 3. That is crazy. The under is the much better implied probability. Looking at the under 3.5, the problem is he's got a phenomenal matchup. There's a reason I don't take these bets. This is just hard to predict. If you bought it down to 2.5, you can't even do that. This isn't one I'm going to take. Head-to-head against the Raptors. It's hit 2 out of the last 3. Haven't seen it in road games. Drewski, it's a great idea. I feel like it's set a little bit too high. He gets off to a hot start, but a tough one there. You're asking also about Duran over points, rebounds, and assists. Let's take a look at that one for you. Jalen Duran, he lost out on his rebounds total last night by 1. I was disappointed on that. Looking at the over-under, the under has the better implied probability. In terms of the matchup overall for centers, not a great collection of matchups. Points and rebounds, tough one. He could have a good night on the assist total. Hasn't been a great trend in terms of on the road. Hasn't been a great trend in terms of the last 20 games. And head-to-head, hasn't been a great trend either. So overall, I tend to miss on this one, Drewski. I would go under. You're looking at the under. Yeah, the under is a good play, actually. Good call. Under is a good play. Sorry, you're looking at the under on that one. Good find by Drewski. Good find. Appreciate you guys being with us. When we hit 6,000 likes, we're giving out another college basketball pick. Appreciate you guys being with us. Okay, let's get Curry. 28 points. 28 points for Steph Curry. Big matchup tonight with the Clippers. Interesting to see how this one's going to play out. The over has a slight advantage on implied probability. Clippers aren't a great defense actually against the point guard position. 4 straight home games, he's gone over 30 points. Definitely something to keep your eye on. In the last 20 games, 12 of the last 20 he's gone over. But he hasn't gone over in 5 straight games at home over the last 20. That's kind of interesting. Let's look against the Clippers specifically. He has only gone over 30 points in 1 of the last 5 games against the Clippers, and that was in LA at home. 2 straight this is missed. I don't like this one. It opened at 29.5, came down. I tend to say the under is a better play here. I don't think Steph Curry, I would take under 30.5 points. I think that's actually probably the best spot on this one. Under 30.5 for Steph Curry. When we hit 6,000 likes, we're going to give out another pick for you guys, another free pick. Cruel Finisher, thoughts on the 76ers on the money line? I do like that one. I am going to put that one up on my big board. It's not one of my favorites, but I will put it up here. 76ers on the money line for just the reason you're saying. Heat on the second night of a back-to-back. I don't expect Jimmy Butler to play in this game. That's another reason for us to have some thoughts on it. Jimmy Butler is out. Terry Rozier is out. I'm going to say take the 76ers. I don't love it, but I like it enough. Looking at how the public is betting it, the only problem is there's a heavy money line bet. A lot of money's come down on the Heat on the money line. That's a dangerous one for us. Maybe you want to take the 76ers on the spread and make it at least worth your while. Drewski, I had a similar thought about Pascal Siakam over on points. Let's take a quick look at that player prop bet to see if it's worth it. Obviously, Pascal Siakam, the former Toronto Raptor. Oh, let's get out of there. Pascal Siakam, the former Toronto Raptor. What do we think about him on points tonight? Set at 22.5. The over has a better implied probability against the power forward position. The Raptors are the 9th best defense in the league. Hasn't been a great trend, honestly, since he got to the Indiana Pacers. He's only gone over 20 points, 5 times in the last 10 games? Over the last 20, hasn't been a great trend. It's too bad. Now, it's showing the head-to-head, but that's against the Indiana Pacers. That was when he was with the Raptors. So this just isn't one I'm going to take. Hasn't been a great trend. That's why I'm really kind of leaning against it. I like the over 21, Drewski, but not one that I'm going to advise. Let's give out another college basketball bet after hitting 6,000 likes. Next college basketball pick I'm giving out is Maryland on the money line, everybody. Maryland on the money line. In fact, let's give out another college basketball bet to say thank you for you guys watching the show, supporting the show, being so great. We are going to give out Miami of Florida. Oh, let's get down here. Miami of Florida plus 8.5. That's the Miami Hurricanes, all about the U, plus 8.5. That's another college basketball bet for you guys. When we hit 7,000 likes, we're going to go back to the NBA and give out another NBA game pick at 7,000 likes. Again, if you guys have any desire to know all of our picks right away, DM me on Instagram, Butt Sports on Instagram. All of our picks are accessible for free every single day, never behind a paywall, always available for free, a lot of transparency. Just DM the name of my company, Butt Sports, DM Butt Sports on Instagram to get those every day. If there's anything you guys want to talk about in the sports world, hit us up. Would love to hear from you guys. Kevin, higher ceiling next season fantasy-wise, Chase or Amon-Ra St. Brown? Personally, I think it's Chase having Joe Burrow come back. I think he's got the higher ceiling. Part of me thinks that Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jared Goff, they had a really smooth season in terms of injuries, in terms of opponents at times. A lot of reason for me to believe the Lions actually might take a step back. I think the Bengals are going to have a really good year. I actually think they're going to have one of the better years. As I mentioned earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw them in a Super Bowl. So I expect Jamar Chase, to have a massive, massive season. Big Lumber, what do we think about the Brooklyn Nets plus 14 tonight against the Celtics? Love it, Big Lumber. Love taking that teaser play, buying up the points there. I think that's a really smart thing to do. Really quick, we're going to jump on over to that game and see how the public money is coming down. So the Celtics are the favorite on the money line. No surprise there. But the spread is heavily in favor of the Nets in terms of the money that's being bet. I tend to believe that's a good play. Nets plus 14.5. Ben Simmons is out for this game, but no Al Horford. Jaylen Brown's a game-time decision. I think Porzingis is going to play. Celtics are certainly the team I would take when it comes to a money line bet, but I think that the Nets are a very good spread idea as well. In fact, let's get to our play of the day, everybody. This is our SHARPZ play of the day, everybody. As you guys know, this is our favorite bet of the day, regardless of the sport, regardless of the type of bet. This is our favorite bet of the day. We've got two for you today. We've got two for you that we're putting up on the big board. Our two favorite bets of the day, our SHARPZ play of the day. The first one is going to be the Celtics on the money line. The second one is going to be the Cavaliers on the money line. Two of our favorite bets of the day, regardless of the odds, regardless of the sport, regardless of the type of bet. Our two favorite bets of the day are Celtics money line and Cavaliers on the money line. Those are our two SHARPZ plays of the day. Again, if you want all of my bets every single day for free, just DM me on Instagram, Butt Sports on Instagram. DM me on Instagram, and that way you can get every bet I make every day. By the way, you also can get in on these rival fantasy challenges. Who do you think is going to have a big game today? I am willing to go head-to-head with any one of you guys. If you guys want to go head-to-head with me, if you think there's a player out there that you think is going to have a big game, put your money where your mouth is. You guys can pick a player. I can pick one, and we can go head-to-head on a bet, you versus me, on the Rival Fantasy app. Literally, we can create a matchup, any two players, who will score more fantasy points, So I put that challenge out there to you guys. You can do it today. You can do it in future shows. We're willing to do it. Javon says Steph. You guys, you're curious about where Steph comes in? Let's see some of the matchups for Steph Curry and see if there's a good one. Again, this is something I can create, and if any of you guys want to go head-to-head with me, we literally can do that and put our money where our mouth is. Oh, Javon's asking, he's not saying. Steph Curry, I think, goes under 30 points tonight. But anyways, if you guys ever want to do that, we also will be doing best ball challenges. So Rival Fantasy also has best ball. If you guys don't know best ball, think of it like a draft, but for like DFS. You do it for a night or for 1 week, but you don't reset the lineup. You're picking players, you're filling positions, but once you set it, that's it. You actually don't do any managing of the lineup. So if any of you guys want to do some best ball challenges, that's another thing we're going to do over on Rival Fantasy. We're going to do it for baseball. We're going to do it for the NBA. A lot of different ways that you guys can interact with us. If you're watching over on YouTube, Twitch, or Kick, you also can get in on the action. So make sure that you guys are all about it. How much do you win doing that? Javon, we would literally bet each other. So we can make it a $1 bet, a $5 bet, a $10 bet. If you guys want to go head-to-head, whether it's with best ball challenges or with Rival Fantasy challenges, I can create the matchup. So if you pick Steph and I say, I don't know, I pick Donovan Mitchell, we can create that. We can put $1 down on it. Winner gets the dollar. So it's an easy way for us to be able to interact. I know you guys are watching the show, but you're a sports fan. If you guys want to be able to challenge me, no better way to do it than Rival Fantasy challenges. We'll probably be doing this a lot over the next few weeks. Elite Detail, what's up? Hope you're having a great day. If you're like the Elite Detail and you just showed up to the show, let me go through all the picks I've given out so far for free throughout the show, and that way you guys know what we like. My 2 SHARPZ plays of the day that we've given out so far are Celtics on the money line and Cavaliers on the money line. My 2 SHARPZ plays of the day. My other NBA game picks are Raptors under 248.5, Pelicans on the money line, Jazz on the money line, 76ers on the money line. In the NHL, we took the Jets on the money line. And in college basketball, we've given out Auburn on the money line, Penn State plus 6.5, Maryland on the money line, and Miami of Florida plus 8.5. Appreciate you guys being with us. If you're new to Butt Fumble Sports, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, no matter the platform you're watching on. That way you never miss our show. We are live almost every single day on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. on the weekends. Appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure you hit that follow button today. We are going to give out another NHL game pick. We want to make sure you guys are paying attention to the ice tonight. Another NHL game pick. We have 2 more to give out. I'm taking the Panthers, Penguins. I'm going under 6.5. I would also recommend taking the under 7 and putting that in some parlays. But Panthers, Penguins, under 6.5, another NHL pick that I like. I'm going to give out another NHL pick right now because we hit 8,000 likes. So our third and final NHL pick of the night, I'm taking the Wild on the money line. If you also want to be a little wild, take the Wild plus 1.5, put that in some parlays. That could be a very good play as well. Wild playing the Coyotes should be a win, but they have not failed to, they've been able to cover consistently against the Coyotes even when they've lost over the last few years. Matt Cruz, what do you think about the Jets under 5.5? I thought about it. I tend to say yes, Matt, but I didn't bet it myself. Maybe that's an indication I don't have enough confidence in it. Under 6, I would take it because at worst you get the push. Under 5.5 is a little dicey. When we hit 9,000 likes, we will give out our favorite player prop bet of the day. Our favorite player prop bet of the day at 9,000 likes. By the way, guys, I put this in my Instagram story. Paolo Banchero is one of the hottest bets right now across the NBA when it comes to assists, as long as you're taking it at over 5.5. He has hit over 5.5 assists in 11 straight games. He is cooking when it comes to distributing the ball. Tough matchup tonight, but if you are looking for the hottest trend play right now across all of player prop bets, Paulo Banchero over 5.5 assists is as hot as it gets. I do have another player prop bet, though, that I want to give out at 9,000 likes. This is my favorite NBA player prop bet of the night. I put it into a lot of parlays, so when we hit 9,000 likes, we'll be giving that one out as well. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys are loving the show and loving the content. Make sure you guys become a butt fumbler and hit that follow button today. Jack, our plays of the day hit very consistently. I would say they hit like 75, 80% of the time. Yes, they are heavy favorites often, so I would say when they miss, it burns a little bit more. Your thoughts on Kyle Shanahan firing Steve Wilks? Drew, we talked about it a little bit earlier. This is what I would say. At one point in that game, the 49ers were in control, and the Chiefs' defensive coordinator, Steve Spagnuolo, put his chips in the middle of the table, was aggressive, and forced Brock Purdy to make a throw with blitz coverage coming at him, and he couldn't do it. Ultimately, 49ers had to give the ball back to Mahomes. We all know what happened. Steve Wilks never did anything in that second half, really in the fourth quarter overtime, that made Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable. I think Kyle Shanahan was right. I think they need to get someone who understands the urgency of the moment. If DeMeco Ryans was still the defensive coordinator of the 49ers, do I think the same outcome of the Super Bowl occurs? I do not. I think Steve Wilks played it too safe. I think he had a brilliant game plan in the first half. The Chiefs adjusted, and I don't think Steve Wilks was able to counter-adjust. Do I think he is a scapegoat in some ways? Because I do think Kyle Shanahan ultimately failed his team by not being able to get the win. But Steve Wilks, I also think, was deserving of being fired. I just think the 49ers are now behind the 8 ball trying to find his replacement this late in the hiring process. We've hit 9,000 likes, so let's give out another pick. It's going to be an NBA player prop bet, everybody. Derek White over half a block. I love this bet tonight, guys. Derek White over half a block has been incredibly consistent at home. It's been incredibly consistent the game after failing to get one. He didn't get a block last night against the Nets. I love him tonight. Derek White over half a block. One of my favorite bets of the night. My favorite NBA player prop bet of the night. That is Derek White over half a block. Appreciate you guys being with us. Make sure you're hitting that follow button. Let's give out another NBA game pick for everybody. Another NBA game pick that we're going to put up on our board. Let's go with... I'm going to take the Rockets on the money line, everybody. I'm going to give out 2 picks related to this game. I'm taking Rockets on the money line. When they've been a road favorite, they've actually played very well. Obviously, the Hornets have been a bad home dog all year. Rockets on the money line. Another pick related to this game. Sorry, the Grizzlies. I meant to say the Grizzlies have been a bad home dog all year. Rockets. I'm also going to take Rockets Grizzlies under 223.5. Rockets Grizzlies on the money line. Rockets Grizzlies under 223.5. Let's give a recap of all the bets we've given out so far during the show over the last 55 minutes. Our 2 sharps plays of the day: Celtics on the money line, Cavaliers on the money line. Those were the 2 sharps plays of the day. Our favorite bets of the day based on highest level of confidence. Not great odds plays, but our favorite bets. Our other NBA picks for today: Raptors, Pacers under 248.5. Pelicans on the money line, Jazz on the money line, 76ers on the money line, and the Rockets on the money line. We also are taking the Rockets and Grizzlies under 223.5. Our favorite player prop bet of the day is Derek White over half a block. For the NHL, we have 3 picks for you: Jets money line, Panthers Penguins under 6.5. I would also recommend under 7 and putting it into some parlays. I would also take the Wild on the money line, and again for another parlay idea, maybe take the Wild at plus 1.5. That's going off at about minus 310, minus 340. You compare that with some other bets that you like tonight and get some good odds on it. My 4 college basketball picks that we've given out throughout the show: Auburn on the money line, Penn State plus 6.5, Maryland on the money line, and Miami plus 8.5. Those are the bets that we have given out throughout the show. If you missed any bet we made today, if you want every bet I make every single day, if you want to see every bet that I make for free every single day, just DM me on Instagram. I'll give you a link and referral code for the SHARPZ app. They're always there for free. There's transparency. We never hide them. We never delete them. They're never behind a paywall. I know you guys work hard. A lot of you guys, you just are out there working, grinding throughout the work week. We're here doing our research to try to give you guys winners, put together a lot of good picks, and hopefully put some money in your pocket. Are we right all the time? No, we're not. We're right about 65 to 68% of the time on our individual bets. We're right about 57% of the time on our parlay plays. With that said, those are the picks we've given out throughout the show. Hopefully you guys are following us. And of course, DM me on Instagram if you missed any of those picks. We give them away for free. Briar, yo, I just joined a dynasty league. The team I got needs work. Any advice? Okay, one of the ways you can quickly start from scratch in a dynasty league and have success if you're taking over a team, scout rookies. I think this is a loaded wide receiver class coming from college into the NFL. You could draft a really good rookie wide receiver, and they could pop just like Jordan Addison did, just like Tank Dell did, just like Zay Flowers did, obviously like Puka Nacua. So I think there's a lot of value there. Make sure you value the running back position. Rookie running backs tend to not have great seasons. It's very rare. Usually what ends up happening is they have a couple good weeks, hit a rookie wall, and don't develop or produce the kind of return that you need out of that valuable running back position. Wide receiver, you can go to rookies. Running backs, you want someone who's been at least in the league a year or two. What I would say is tight end is becoming more and more valuable. Again, rookies could be valuable there. Brock Bowers, there are a couple this year coming out of the draft. Tight end could be another position you look towards rookies. But frankly, I wouldn't go quarterback rookies this year. I think you want an established quarterback. Don't be surprised if Justin Herbert with Harbaugh is a really good draft pick if you could get him. I'm assuming he's going to be claimed by someone in a dynasty league, but there's just a thought there. Look for someone who's trying to have a bounce back year. Don't try to duplicate the success of a previous season like I wouldn't want Lamar. But overall, I would want veterans at quarterback and running back. I'd be willing to take some flyers on rookies at wide receiver and tight end. Appreciate you guys being with us throughout the show. We have hit our hour mark. Make sure you guys are hitting that follow button. Make sure you're subscribing. And make sure you join us again. We will be live at 5 p.m. tomorrow, everyone. So make sure you join us. We'll do another show, 5 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. That way you never miss our show. We are live almost every single day, giving out sports advice, obviously talking through our favorite player prop bets, game picks, total plays, parlays, everything that you guys need every single day. Briar, Lamar, Chubb. It could be worse. Look for a rookie tight end. I think that's where you could get some good value. I think you're going to be okay, Briar. Don't worry. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Make sure you DM me on Instagram for every bet I make every day. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and make sure you guys have a great night of watching sports. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.